Hey guys, Ric Callahan once again. This is Leading Your Family Well. This is session 4. Hope you're doing all right today. And I want to start with a question. What is one recent moment when your child has become upset because they didn't get what they wanted? Do you ever have those in your house? Are there ever those times where your child doesn't get what they want? Of course, there are lots of times like that. And they become disappointed. And so today what we're going to talk about is how to help kids deal with disappointment. Because I got news for you, disappointments are coming. If you're an adult, you know that that's true. And so we're going to talk about what that means. So when your child is disappointed, I would ask this question too. What emotions does your child show? How do they show that they're disappointed? What emotions does that make you feel as a parent? Some parents are like, wow, that's so bad. I'm so sorry. Get over it. Some parents are more like, oh, what can I do for you, baby? Can I help you? Can I get you some juice? And then I've got to ask you this too. What made the moment difficult for you? Was it dealing with the disappointment or knowing what to do in the situation to lead your child well? Let me just say this right off the start right here. Children are not harmed by appropriate disappointment. They are actually strengthened by learning how to move through it. I mean, we're all disappointed from time to time. Things don't always go our way. And for a child that's always coddled, they're going to take disappointment to the nth degree and cause you to jump through all kind of hoops to make it better. Is that what you really want them to do when they get to be 25, 35, 50? Do you still want them doing that? So we're going to talk about how to help your child deal with disappointment. Well, the first thing I'd like to say is that a child's disappointment is not just limited to terrible, terrible things. Sometimes it's just something really, really small. Every child hears no in a different way, and they process it emotionally. Now, there were times when my parents told me no to getting an apple pie at McDonald's, and I really wanted an apple pie, and I would throw a fit. And then when I didn't get what I wanted, I would be disappointed and not talk and act crazy all the rest of the night. Is that really the way you want your child to react to not getting their way? So I want us to know that when your child is disappointed, it doesn't mean that they are emotionally damaged. But it gives us an opportunity to lead them through it and to help them learn some incredible things. So let's talk about some of the stages of disappointment. There are 5 emotional stages of disappointment. The first thing would be denial. They might say, "You're not serious. You'll change your mind if I wait. This will never last." Well, when children say that, they're trying to emotionally protect themselves from disappointment. But parents can say this, "I know this is hard to hear, but the limit is staying in place." It's not that difficult to respond in that way. Some kids respond in anger. They'll say, "This is unfair. You're just too strict." And they start yelling and arguing and slamming doors. Has that ever happened at your house? It did in the one where I grew up. Anger often appears when desires are blocked. But it can be temporary. Here's the response that you need to have. I understand you're upset. It's okay to be angry, but the answer is still no. Now, giving in to them, all it's going to do is stop the negative emotion just for a few minutes. Because the next time this happens, you're going to be in the same situation and they're going to get angry again. Or maybe your child wants to bargain. Maybe they didn't get their way, they're disappointed, so they're going to say, well, what if I finish all my homework? Well, you better finish all your homework. That's your responsibility. Or they say, can we find some kind of ground here where we can agree? Can we compromise in some way? Or maybe a child will say, well, okay, but just 1 hour and then maybe I can do it then. They start bargaining with you. And here's what I've found out about kids nowadays. They are masters at manipulation. They can figure out ways to get their way. So let me remind you as parents, bargaining is an attempt for them to regain control over you. So your response should be this: I appreciate you trying to problem solve for me as a parent, but right now the limit is staying the same. So your kid needs to understand that you're serious when you say no and when the limits are already set. Maybe your child is just sad and discouraged. Maybe they're crying. Maybe they are acting depressed. Maybe they're saying, well, Mom, I'm bored, or I hate this. Or they just withdraw and they go to their room and they curl up in a little ball and sulk. Well, let me remind you that when they're sad, it's not dangerous. Sadness is not dangerous. It's an emotion that we all have from time to time. Children need opportunities to sit down sometime with disappointment. Let's think about that for a minute. Is it okay for your child to be disappointed? I hope so, because there are going to be many times in life where your child is going to be disappointed. I mean, it's happened to you and it's happened to me. It's going to happen. Here's the response for sadness and discouragement. I know this feels disappointing right now, but I'm here with you and we're going to move through this together. Stage 5 would be acceptance. Now, acceptance is where the child knows that you love them and care for them and you're going to take care of them. You're not going to leave them in disappointment forever. So let's talk about this. First of all, when you accept them and they feel accepted, their emotional calmness is going to return. They're going to find some new options of other things to do, things that are there that are close to them. They're going to increase in their maturity because they've been through a disappointing situation. And they're going to improve in their relationship with you as well. So let's think about this. Acceptance creates space for growth. Now, I want you to talk with your spouse for just a few minutes about this. Let me ask you these questions. Which stage is hardest for you as a parent? Is it the bargaining stage? Is it the denial stage, the anger stage? Is it the sadness or discouragement stage? Which is hardest for you? Which emotional reaction tempts you to just give in? For my mom, it was anger. If I showed anger, she would give in pretty quick. For my dad, nothing really worked. He was not going to change the limit for me. So let me ask you this. What fears arise inside you during conflict? When you are having conflict with your kids, what kind of fears come to you? I want you to talk with your spouse about those things. So let me read those one more time. Which stage is hardest for you to deal with as a parent? Which emotional reaction tempts you to give in the easiest? And what fears arise inside you during conflict? So guys, I wanted to share this with you because I know that kids get disappointed. They get disappointed at school. They get disappointed at home when they don't get their way, and it can be something big or it can be something small. But let me just say that it's okay for your child to be sad It's okay for your child to be disappointed. Teach them to move through those emotions to get back to a healthy place. And as you lead well, your kids can grow from this.